Welcome to Sterling Visionary Voices, the podcast dedicated to bringing you diverse, innovative leadership insights and actionable strategies for success. Join hosts Laura McNeil and Bob Medeiros as they explore the art and science of role model leadership through thought-provoking conversations with real professionals. Whether you're a seasoned leader or aspiring to excellence, Sterling Visionary Voices is your guide to navigating the complexities of your leadership journey.
Mid-America Transplant is a two-time winner of the Malcolm Baldrige National Quality Award, recognized as drastically transforming the organ donation industry by creating the nation's very first standalone organ recovery facility. Before they built this clinical facility, organ procurement organizations relied entirely on traditional hospitals to transform organ retrievals. Mid-America Transplant realized this old system caused delays, higher costs, and unpredictable scheduling. So why is this so incredibly cool? Well, I've got three reasons. One, massive cost savings. The costs per donors declined from $20,000 down to under $4,000. Two, unprecedented surge in the number of lives that were saved. Between 2003 and 2020, their streamlined organizational framework resulted in a 167% increase in organs transplanted and a 385% increase in tissue donors. Number three, they set a national standard. Their organizational model was so efficient and so high quality that it actually became the blueprint for organ donor organizations across the United States. Very excited today because with us is a leader who is bringing a similar transformative spirit like Mid-America Transplants to the Hillsborough County Tax Collector's Office. Hillsborough County Tax Collector is a third-time winning recipient of Florida's prestigious Governor Sterling Award, which happens to be the highest Florida recognition for organizational excellence, superior management, and quality outcomes. Nancy Millan made history as Hillsborough County's first female and Hispanic tax collector when she was elected in 2020. And voters have since affirmed her leadership as she has run unopposed for her second term in 2024. Nancy was also named the 2026 recipient of the John A. Piano Jr. Sterling Leadership Award, which recognizes transformational leadership. As a tax collector, Nancy oversees a team of more than 400 employees across 9 locations that serve 1.6 million residents. A dedicated wife, mother, and proud Marine mom to her son, Vinny, Nancy remains deeply connected to her Hillsborough County roots. With 37 years of service, she dedicated her career to enhancing customer service, accessibility, and innovation for residents. As Nancy likes to put it, transformational leadership isn't about one person. It's about building a culture where everyone rises together. I really want to welcome you to Visionary Voices. I know how busy your day is. Thank you so much for taking a portion of that time to spend it with us.
Well, thank you. I am honored to be here with you and to be able to share our story.
You and your organization have been publicly recognized for role model leadership. Can you describe why and how you got started on this journey of continuous improvement and transformation?
Sure, I'd love to. I started at the tax collectors as an accounting clerk, and I worked my way up. Through my tenure at the tax collector's office, 20 years I've worked as a director of community relations and communications under the leadership of Doug Feldman. And during that time is actually when we started our journey through adopting that Sterling framework and working towards organizational excellence. So I saw it from the very beginning and learned from the very beginning the work that it took to get to that level of excellence. And it was instilled in me We worked on this for 2 decades. I then had the opportunity where I became tax collector and was elected in 2020. And I knew there was one thing that I wanted to ensure that we continued on, and it was that Sterling framework and the feeling of every one of our team members being engaged and proud of where they worked at. I had seen through time where if you're not disciplined or if you're not fully committed to the Sterling framework, you go through these ups and downs and where people become complacent or maybe not even happy or proud of where they work. And I recognized that, and I knew what it felt like to be on top when silos weren't in existence and where everyone was working together. I knew that feeling and I wanted it back. And that was the one main thing that I learned, is that through the discipline of the Sterling framework, we had a strong foundation, but it really takes a true commitment from everyone, especially leadership committee, by example. So having that background and that strong foundation is what really helped me stepping into the role of tax collector and knowing what changes I wanted to make needed.
Can you give us some insight as to what some of the cool things that your organization has done, or how you really transformed a tax collector's office?
One of the main things that I worked on, again, is the culture. That's something that doesn't happen overnight. It takes time and it can get frustrating to Laura. I know, again, being at the top when we were actually awarded the Governor Sterling Award 2008 and then the Sustain in 2011, I knew what it felt like. I knew how people felt about working at the tax collector's office, which isn't an easy task. And we know we have the perception of we're often called the local DMV, and just breaking that perception of customers coming in and what they have a tendency to expect from a government office. And we wanted to change that perception. Plus making people feel like they had a sense of purpose and pride in what they did, and how what we do is an essential service that really makes a difference in someone's life. When you're providing essential services like giving someone credentials of a driver's license or registering your vehicle, because honestly, without it, you can't open a bank account or rent an apartment and going to work. So these are critical, essential documents that someone needs to thrive in our community. Really instilling that is something that I'm most proud of. It took a while, and really getting the buy-in from everyone and really inspiring people and motivating them to want to do this, not having it forced on anyone, but really engaging people where they felt like they were a part of something much bigger. It took us a while, but I can tell you, after 3 years of really stressing the importance of it and talking about it at every staff meeting, infusing these principles throughout every department and every branch, and making it part of the way we do business, whether it be through our policies and procedures in our meetings. So it really took everyone to buy into it. And through time, we started to organically see it just come to life, where our new mission, our new vision, and our values, all of these things were now no longer just a poster on the board, but it came to life and people were talking about it and feeling good about it and passionate about serving people and knowing that they truly are making a difference in our community.
Can you give me an example of how you may have uniquely helped a customer?
Sure. One of our strategic priorities is providing amazing customer service experience. And again, the perception of the typical DMV is something that is a big daunting task to break that perception. And it starts at training our team members on having those conversations with people, connecting with our customers, and not just as a number but our transaction, but actual human being there who is in need of some service, and really focusing on those needs and how just the minute they walk into our door, that experience starts there, not just when they come up to a window. So we work really diligently to create a path, a playbook that we use to really focus on what those expectations are internally and how we as a team can be at our very best at all times, and using those actionable items that we, from senior leaders to managers, we're all doing the same thing, rolling up our sleeves and really showcasing, that we have to lead by example, right? And not just, again, it's not a meeting, it's not a one and done, that it takes real work and really showing that we're all in it together. I know that sounds kind of cliche, but honestly, with that dedication, with that commitment that we were going to be all in this and really advocating for those things that are important, to see it come to life was something that's pretty incredible, because we really did change. We went from 2.7 Google reviews to 4.5 and up at all of our branches. And that's unheard of, especially for an office, as you know, that, again, they've made cartoons and shows about DMV experience. So when you can show the complete opposite of having an outstanding experience at a DMV, to me, that speaks volumes of what we're doing in our community and how we're serving people.
That is phenomenal. 4.5. People would be extremely proud to have that rating.
Yes, and we are.
What can you say that's attributed to? Is there something unique in your approach to transformation? Is there something about your culture or something unique within the Sterling framework that you can say really makes the difference?
I think there's a number of things. We have our regular meetings, we have regular communications, and when we deploy things, again, this is all of us. It's not just me or senior leadership's understanding the inner workings of our framework, but really being intentional on how we share our information, showing our scorecards and knowing how well we're doing and how each person contributes to that overall success of the organization. It starts it from the individual to the team to the branch. It rolls up into an organizational scorecard. We have really made it part of what we call the golden thread, where everyone knows why they're there and how they contribute, and continuously having that conversation with our staff, knowing the whys and being very transparent with our plan, being strategic, and including our people and how we can improve. So all of these things together really have motivated and took us to the next level. And honestly, Laura, this is a constant project that will continue on way beyond the award. We are looking at ways right now. It's like, okay, now's the next level. How can we stretch this even a little bit further to go beyond excellent, right? And it starts again with our people and knowing that they matter and making them a part of something. We currently have established some stories, really talking about amazing stories within our organization, where team members can share how they helped a customer and how that really made a difference in someone's life. So again, there's some type of testimonial to the purpose and our mission, vision, and core values. All of these things really set the tone and example to inspire other team members, where they really believe in our mission and start to live it, and it just spreads. And so we are really focused on those things. And it does take a lot of communication, a lot of engagement from every single person in our staff. I tell folks, it's not just, just because you sit in a corner office doesn't mean that you're exempt from those things. But really, so making those promises or those expectations as actionable items that everybody has to showcase, and being those role models all throughout the organization. We also listen to our staff. We've established 2 advisory board committees. There's a team advisory board. This ensures that they have a seat at the table, and they're sitting with myself and with my chief deputy tax collector and talking about the real issues that matter to them, so that we can have open conversation. It's a safe place. But they also brings them into the inner workings of our strategic plan and how we establish those things and how we're listening and learning and how we can make change. We also have the supervisors who oftentimes they're in between manager and assistant manager and CSR. So they're the biggest influencers in our office. However, sometimes they're not a part of the bigger conversation, right? That impacts them directly. So now we've established an advisory board with them as well, having a seat at the table and having us have the opportunity to have conversations about our scorecard, maybe about a mandatory mandate that came from legislation and how we're going to handle it and how it's going to impact them, customers, teams. So having them part of those conversations makes them feel empowered and part of the decision making. And all of those things really just, again, go back to our culture and really getting everybody to move towards the same goal and knowing what that end goal looks like, and all of us having their backs and reaching for the stars for that next level.
Sounds like all hands on the flywheel to me.
Yes, ma'am.
Went in the same direction. Yep, fully aligned. And it's interesting that you brought up core values. We talked earlier about setting culture and really transforming the culture is like the key as to how you started. That was your initial focus, and making sure that the foundation of the organization was really set on a consistent culture and everyone adopted that culture. Can you talk a little bit about core values? There are roughly 10 to 12 different core values. They fluctuate year to year, but for the most part, they're pretty consistent. Which core value do you think has played the biggest part, if there is one, in really framing how you get your teams to align and work together?
I have several, but I think in our organization, the way we really connected to our team members is going the extra mile, internally and externally, doing the right thing all the time, especially in government and when we're working with our clients. And I say it's always doing the right thing, even when no one's watching, that you're doing the right thing. The other is being accountable, fiscally responsible, and transparent. That's something that at all levels we want to be transparent, and being that why. Again, when we're making decisions, they have to know the why and that they're a part of this decision, and how we arrive to that decision is important. So that takes some conversations of how we deploy our strategic plan and the outcomes from the strategic plan, and how we arrive at those is always important. So we make that part of our communication. Annually, we have regular state-of-the-art videos that I pass out. We have our newsletter where we're passing it out. And then we're having in-person conversations about these things on a regular basis. And then the last one that we have is team. We're a team HCTC. That's so important. Again, when I talk about everyone's headed in the same direction for that common goal, and knowing that we have their backs and we're working in this together, I think that really is an example and a testament to where we've reached at this point. Getting that award and for being asked questions about our organization and how we do things, to me, that was a testament as to we're going in the right direction and we're doing what we need to do to really become exceptional at what we do within our industry. And with a sense of purpose when everyone's answering those questions in the same, it's all a testament to how we communicate and how we're practicing what we preach every single day.
All right. Well, I really appreciate, once again, you taking time out of your day to spend with us. Really appreciated everything you shared. I wish you continued success.
Thank you. I appreciate it, and I appreciate the opportunity to share our story. And hopefully we have more great news to share in the upcoming years. We continue to strive for excellence every single day. And I appreciate everything that the Sterling Council has offered and how this basic foundation has really helped us achieve the goals that we have set out to. But thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to today's episode of Sterling Visionary Voices, Insights for Role Model Leadership from the Sterling Council. Discover more and connect with us at sterlingvisionaryvoices.com.